Alright, here we are guys, back for another Golf Clash tutorial, Tour 7 here, and this is one of the new redesigned Ghostly Glades holes, Sunshine Glade old holes. What I usually use for this hole is, especially with this wind, I'll use some curl. So I highly recommend either, Kingmaker or Katana. Here you can see my opponent has a Katana. Now, a POC 6, probably, you probably won't face many guys with a POC 6 in Tour 7. It's an extremely advanced club. And it'll actually be the point where, once you get to a POC 6, I would say, pretty much just switch over to that for all the later tours. Otherwise, I would say use Thor's hammer. Now, the problem with my Thor's hammer, I'm not going to be able to curl it like you just saw my opponent there do. So you could see the level of curl that my opponent could do. I couldn't do that with my shot. So what you're going to see me do is I'll usually use maybe about 4 side spin, top spin. I'm going to go up to 5 here. You'll see, I don't really have a lot of wind, but what I'm going to focus on more than anything is curling and making sure that I don't add power and overshoot the island. So you can see that I have this horizontal grid, which helps me, set my power. And as I mentioned, I like to get mine as right as possible. It makes the best angle. So even if you can get it farther to the right than I just did, it's even better. So, and with Apocalypse, especially a 6, because as I mentioned, you can see I actually got as much curl as mine. But my opponent, he had the opportunity to curl it more and just didn't. So, that's one of the suggestions that I would make to you guys, is that you actually do use the extra curl if you have it. Get it much more towards the right. You can see how much more aggressive kind of towards the left-hand side we need to get. And we'll actually, in this shot, need to aim much more into the rough once we actually make our ring adjustment. It's not really a huge deal. It's not going to be a deal breaker having to aim over here. It just makes the shot just a little bit more complicated. And my opponent here definitely didn't go enough rings. So I don't know what they were doing with maybe their guide, but it's definitely not enough rings. So here you can see it's about 3 rings light and just winds up to the right-hand side of the hole. So here I'll show you kind of my perspective. First thing you'll want to do is try to size that up and try to figure out what you're working with here. So I'm going to play it, down towards min club because I'm very close to min club. Aside from that, what I'll usually do is maybe 3 to 4 backspin and maybe just shoot my guide off towards the left-hand side. So you can see how I'm playing it at least a yard or so. Aside from that, I'm just going to go the ring adjustment number pretty much spot up, 5.4-ish. So let's try there. No added extra power, anything like that. Just perfect ball. Keep in mind that I offset my guide originally, and it looks like I might have went too many rings. Another thing to consider about this is there is maybe an elevation factor, but it's very, very minimal, maybe -5. So here 5.2-ish to 4.9. There is, some uphill gradient there that I don't always, remember to do. Plus with the side, sometimes you can do a little bit of an overplay. In my case, it looks like, it was just probably not quite precise enough. If you can actually see the way that I first pulled, I pulled a little bit too far. And I think I tried to pull it back up a little bit. And I think I did, but, it looks like I might have went a little bit too far in my initial pull there. And I did try to correct it there. But I'm going to split these up. I'll catch you guys on the shootout.